There's this saying which is, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I've had a few teaching moments in the last week. I get teachers from all over the place. I get teachers from books, like authors of books, some of my new work colleagues, my new boss, the person who is my supervisor, on my YouTube videos. And there was one comment that really made me think, which I'm going to throw up on the screen now, from somebody who watched one of my videos. And it was essentially that you could see the point in, if you've got some sort of chronic illness or disease or something like that, to do something about eating your diet. So in the context of eating the carnivore way, to actually do that kind of intervention so that you can cure that disease, that illness, whatever that happens to be. And he also said, but is it too much for someone who's obviously healthy for them to be spending so much time trying to gain even more optimal health, or to attain some kind of perfect diet or panacea? That was the essential message. And I feel like it was probably directed at me, because externally, I don't appear that I have any health issues. And to a large degree, that's true. And it did make me think about, well, am I obsessing over my health? Do I need to spend so much time thinking about it? The answer for me was yes. But it also made me think about, well, if what I'm doing ends up with me having a lot less joy in my life, that's really the litmus test. Is what I'm doing bringing more joy into my life or less? And I would say yes. Eating this way brings more joy into my life. I feel more energized. I feel more mentally sharp. I have a very comfortable bowel, which I've not had before I started eating the carnivore way. I'm enjoying doing a lot more cooking and regaining some skills that I used to have when I was a lot younger. I know that I'm nourishing my family and my children. I still enjoy time with my friends and social occasions. And more than anything, I'm building this unique and wonderful community of like-minded people who share similar goals to what I do. And I would not want to give any of those things up. So I like this idea of joy as being some sort of a barometer for your life. So if what you're doing is bringing less joy into your life, or who you're associating with, or what you're reading, what you're watching, if you can apply that as a litmus test to whatever it is you're doing, I feel like it works pretty well. So I guess what that commenter was getting at was that if you find yourself obsessing over whatever it is that you're doing to the point where you're always sort of in some state of negative emotion, then maybe that's something that you need to look at. Like if you're obsessing over every single morsel that you put into your mouth to the point where there's not a lot of joy in your life, well then maybe that doesn't work for you. But that's really going to be a very personal test. And there was another passage that I read in a series of books that I'm reading at the moment, which is called The Law of One, which I've spoken about in my other videos. So I won't go into what the book's about, but I'm going to throw the passage up on the screen now. The subjective acceptance of that which is at the moment and the finding of love within that moment is the greater freedom. That known as the subjective knowing without proof is, in some degree, a poor friend, for there will be anomalies no matter how much information is garnered. You don't have all the context there, but essentially what the questioner, the Law of One is a series of questions and answers. The questioner was asking whether the statement that being in a state of knowing without having any proof has freedom in it. And I think in the context of eating the carnivore way, sometimes people come into this kind of lifestyle feeling like they know inherently that this is the right way for them to eat and the right way for them to live, but don't actually have any substantial proof that it is, because, well, mainly because they haven't actually tried it out themselves yet, right? And initially to me, I thought, well, that's actually seems pretty sensible, right? Instead of feeling like, well, you've got to be hamstrung by, well, is there any sort of real substantial evidence for me to take on this particular way of eating, or do I have a sort of a knowing about it that would have me begin and start and get some of the improvements to the health that I'm wanting? That seems like a pretty sensible thing to me. But the answer was that the real freedom is in just accepting how things are. The subjective acceptance of that which is at the moment. And the finding of love within that moment is the greater freedom. That's what the answer was. And I think there is so much relief in that paragraph. There's relief from needing to be more, needing to be better, needing to make more money, needing to lose more weight, needing to lose more body fat, needing to look fitter, get fitter, needing to buy a bigger house, needing to buy a better car, needing to work harder so you've got more money for retirement. There's nothing wrong with having goals. I'm not saying don't have any goals, but there's also freedom in complete acceptance of how things are at the moment. And I wonder if that's what it's like for someone when they find out that they have terminal cancer. I would imagine that some people would be, okay, I'm going to learn everything I possibly can to fight this thing and beat this thing. And, you know, some people go through an enormously painful and drawn out struggle only to meet death in the end. And there would be some knowing that if they feel like it's truly a terminal thing and that there isn't any chance of reversing or going into remission, and then accepting their fate, accepting the fact that they will die, I wonder if the last moments of their life are far more joyful than the former person. And this also made me think about this, you know, continual pursuit of perfection and what the cost in terms of your own anxiety that might entail. It made me think about it today. It's like, I'm like, oh, I need to, my shirt is getting old. I need to get a different shirt. Or I haven't shaved my face today. I need to make sure I shave my face. Oh, I got up at 4 a.m. this morning, so I look a bit tired. So maybe I should wait till I do this video tomorrow. All these things were about being perfect or trying to attempt to appear somewhat perfect. And I've just got to remind myself that we're just not perfect. Like human beings, we're not perfect. So why am I worrying so much about presenting a state of perfection? You know, is it enough for me to get the message that I want to get across, presenting myself the way that I do with my old iPhone 10 in my little tiny kitchen with just the light from the window? Is that enough to get the message that I want to get to people? Is it enough? I think it probably is. And realizing that just sort of brings this great sense of relief, right? So think about that next time you're anxious about something. Could you just accept the situation as it is right now? Wouldn't that be a relief if you could do that? Wouldn't you just relax a bit more than what you have been? Now the perfection part of me is going, well, have I actually said enough in this video? Should I have made this 15 minutes or is 10 going to be okay? Well, you know what? Today, what I've done, I'm okay with that. And I hope you got something out of it too. I love you all and I'll talk to you soon. Actually, before you go, you should check out this video. I think that's a good one for you. Yeah, that video is definitely the one for you. Definitely you want to check that out. You gonna watch it? All right, I'll see you in the next one.